News Talk 96.5 KPEL, updates on all your local headlines, national. Of course, we're also watching the tropics going into next week. You can find all the latest at kpel965.com. Another story up there is the one we've been talking about today, and we actually took some of your phone calls this morning about the announcement yesterday that LAGCOE will move the big expo that has happened at the Cajun Dome Convention Center and the area surrounding to New Orleans for 2019.
Mm-hmm. So with the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, their President Gifford Briggs, who joins us on the line. Gifford, good morning.
Good morning.
So how is the world going so far today?
Oh, so far so good.
Hey, it's Friday. It's Labor Day weekend, right? So, okay, so the news came out yesterday about LAGCOE 2019 and the convention moving to New Orleans. I'm kind of curious, did you happen to get a lot of feedback on it?
We certainly had some calls and some people that were a little surprised at the news. And, LAGCOE's been a part of Lafayette and Acadiana and, is sort of a staple of our industry in Louisiana for such a long time. I think it's taken a little while for everybody to process it.
Yeah. A little time to digest, right?
Exactly.
So, all right. So, is it indicative of what's happening in the Acadiana area and across the state? What do you take from all of this?
I think if you read the LAGCOE's press release and their statement, and they talk about the need for a bigger venue, and certainly, when you go to LAGCOE every year, you see, rigs and equipment and booths and everything set up outside, and then they spill over in the convention center. So I do agree that there's probably a larger need for a bigger space if their hope is to continue going LAGCOE into a bigger show. But there's certainly a changing, a shift in the industry in Acadiana and Lafayette, but really overall, and the decrease in activity in the Gulf of Mexico and South Louisiana. So I'm sure that played, some part of a role in their decision making.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that because this area, obviously, you're talking about a lot of Gulf exploration, drilling, and everything here in our area, but we're hearing about other places. Texas, we hear from businesses every day. You should see some of the emails we get into our news box where they can't recruit enough people away from Louisiana. Is that a part of it as well? Will there be more Texas and other states represented at LAGCOE now that it's in a place like New Orleans?
That's going to be a big question for LAGCOE. Lafayette is for a while we had a lot of exploration and production companies that were headquartered in Lafayette, and most recently we've seen that Stone closed down and is purchased by Talos, and they're headquartered in Houston. We don't have nearly the number of E&P companies. We continue to be a heart for the service industry. Mm-hmm. But for those exploration and production companies, particularly those you're looking at in the Gulf of Mexico, which in a lot of cases is really still the majors and Shell and Chevron and Exxon and others, they're not located in Lafayette. And, even their satellite offices have left Lafayette and are some degree in New Orleans and Covington in that area, and then definitely in Houston. So, it is a little bit easier to get into New Orleans from wherever you want to be. And, a lot of people look at that as maybe more of an international destination. And so that may be able to attract the buyers that the service companies are really looking for.
So I'm sorry.
You can go ahead. Gosh, I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
I think for a lot of people.
What does it mean, in your opinion? I'm sorry. Then, Bernie, I'm going to give you the floor.
I'm sorry.
Because I just start to think about how people are feeling because you're in this, I don't know, kind of middle ground where people are just looking for signs of hope. And I feel like every once in a while we get signs of hope, and something like this, it doesn't do well for morale.
But what is the picture?
But what is it?
Yeah.
Well, and we've been saying this since we've been, traveling around the state and doing our state of industry presentation since the beginning of the year. We've got a tale, of three Louisianas going right now.
Oh.
You've got, the Haynesville Shale, which is continuing to see success, with 30 to 40 rigs. And, and even these low-priced natural gas environments, companies are able to go in there and continue to explore that field as we have been since 2007, and the future is bright. We've got South Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico where companies don't want to invest, and they don't want to, for different reasons. In the Gulf of Mexico, it's very expensive, so only the really large, mostly integrated companies can be there. And then in South Louisiana and coastal Louisiana, we've got over 400 environmental lawsuits against, probably 300 to 400 different companies, and boardrooms and executives are making a choice not to invest, which is completely understandable and should be expected. But there is hope, and that what we're focusing on and putting a lot of effort into is what's going on in central Louisiana, which is not something that we really talk about for the oil and gas industry, and that's the Austin Chalk. Oh. And, there's probably 2 to 3 million acres or more under lease. We've got many different new companies that have not been historical producers in Louisiana that have been, acquiring acreage quietly, and we're starting to see permits being pulled. And potentially, hopefully, that this play takes off the way that people are telling us it has the potential to, and, which would be huge for Lafayette. I mean, the people and the resources that we're sending over to Midland, Texas, and other places, hopefully we'll be able to drive just south of Alexandria or over the Falls River or, even over into the Lake Charles area and go to work and produce, in the Austin Chalk.
So, well, Gifford, I just want to say that, I like that we can look at, okay, here's what's happening, here's what we see, but then here's this. And, for the people looking in our state, there's a lot of stuff that's still going on, that's still very active.
Yeah, I mean, South Louisiana it's amazing the investment and the infrastructure that we're seeing. I just was reading an article this morning about the oil export facility that's being built in Plaquemines. We've got, another LNG facility that's about to start construction later this year. And, we continue to be, the energy state and a major player in the energy market on a global scale. It's just in a different capacity than we have before. We're not a major producer. We're not a major E&P company, but we are a serious petrochemical base, and we are going to be, one of the largest exporters of LNG and oil in the world once all our facilities are under construction. And, that's something, as a state that we can be excited about, but it doesn't necessarily make us feel good about, losing something that we hold as dear to us as LAGCOE.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you see something, as I've seen other people on social media predict, or another Expo springs up here?
Well, I don't want to say never. I would say that if the Austin Chalk takes off, that would be a major opportunity for Lafayette, because it would be fairly central to the chalk play and central to the industry. So, that it could absolutely be an opportunity for, some different type of showcase that's focused on that play. And, if we did something similar with the Haynesville Shale when it was taken off up in North Louisiana, and if there's an opportunity to do that, certainly LOGA wants to give opportunities for our members and the service companies to showcase their wares and to work with the companies that are going to be here. There's also a chance that LAGCOE goes to New Orleans and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They're certainly taking, a risk and a gamble, which, that's the spirit of the industry, right? That's the spirit of the oil and gas industry, and you want to grow and you've got to take risk, and they're sort of wildcatting out New Orleans. And, maybe they go out there and they don't see the response they want, and 2021 they come back home. And, not that we're hoping for that. We're not hoping for anyone to not succeed. But, this industry changes so much. We can't predict, what's going to happen much beyond a year in advance. And we can't even predict what's going to happen in the Austin Chalk yet.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Well, Gifford Briggs with the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Hey, as we're wrapping up here, do you have any big plans for Labor Day weekend this weekend?
Well, there's a little football on TV. You might be watching with the family. So,
yeah. Might be doing that.
That's probably gonna take up most of the weekend. I have a feeling.
I would imagine so. Well, I hope that you enjoy your day off on Monday. Thank you for your time this morning, and of course, we'll keep in touch with you to kind of keep up with getting a pulse on everything.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, all right.
I think
a pulse on it.